what the synthesis of both of these things are together. And that is why I call myself a professor. We have an organization called Northwest Share based in Seattle, and an institute called Sammamish Institute of Technology and Advanced Sciences. So I serve as a professor there. Today's topic is a pretty long name, Quasi. Can somebody pronounce that?
Quasi-thanatology.
Quasi-thanatology. What is thanatology means? Science of death, yeah. How do you know that? Because of the context? Okay. What is thanatophobia? Thanatophobia. Fear of death. How many percentage of world's population has thanatophobia? 100%. That's a very good point. 100% of the world's population has thanatophobia because we all will die. How do you know that? We see our father dying, mother dying. I mean, at least in my age, my father passed away. But at least you see your grandfather or grandmother pass away, right? Uncles pass away, granduncles pass away. So there is this thing called the near-death experience. How many people have heard of that, near-death experience? Yeah? Yeah. Which city are we in? We are in Dallas, right? Last week I was in Seattle. 2 weeks ago I was in Atlanta, Georgia. In Atlanta, Georgia, there's a university called Emory University, and they do a lot of research on near-death experience. In the state of Virginia, there is a university called University of Virginia, and they have a lot of research going on there. They study thousands of cases. University of Virginia. So today's study is based on what happened in University of Virginia. Dr. Grayson, Anita Moorjani, and Dr. Alexander. Anita is from India. Grayson and Alexander are American-born scientists. So they did this study on what happens at death. We will see a video also, depending upon time and if we are still allowed to stay in this room for a while. Right? So what is being addressed in this research? To what extent is proximity to death involved in near-death experience? Proximity to death means the closeness of death. To what extent are some external or real-life stimuli incorporated in the NDE phenomenon? Sorry, this is a pretty intense topic after the nice topic we had with Gopal. So don't worry too much. We'll talk about it in a little light manner because death is a difficult topic to talk about. What are the neurophysiological mechanisms underlying near-death experiences? Right? How can NDE scientifically explain this with current neuromodels? And then how is a clear memory trace of near-death experience created in situations where brain processes, right? So most people think that this NDE is related to the brain, and I will argue that it is not. By end of this discussion, you will see that there is something else going on. And how do our current theories of memories account for these experiences? There are people who study memory for 2 years in a master's course. So it's got to be pretty intense, right? Okay, anyway, let's dive in. So what is NDE? It refers to psychological events that can have important impact on experiencer as in somebody who went through NDE. Previous studies have shown that NDE memories are phenomenologically rich. So phenomenologically, what does it mean? Phenomenon, how do you study that, right? In the present study, what these scientists studied is how to extract the common themes, right? As known as features. In data science, you have something called feature engineering. So even in medical science, we have feature engineering. You pull out the key features and then you model them. So a qualitative thematic analysis has not been carried out on 34 cardiac arrest survivors, but a phenomenon-based study has been conducted in this space. Okay? So let's dive in. A lot of mumbo jumbo there, but we'll come to that. So typically these studies are done, battery dead, oh no, came back, on patients who are in hospitals, right? So you cannot do this at your home. You cannot study a dead man or a dead woman at your home. So you have to go to places. So University of Virginia Medical School is a place where this study is happening. So this is a university too, right? This is the University of North Texas. So at the point of death, something very interesting happens. People say, this is what I felt. This is what happened to me, right? So there is this tunnel that the individual goes through. They talk of this tunnel through which they are passing. So what is the definition, right? So University of Virginia defines it as intensely vivid and often life-transforming experiences, many of which occur under extreme physiological conditions such as trauma, ceasing of brain activity, deep anesthesia. Anesthesia, they give that injection to put people to bed so that calm them down so that they can perform surgery and things like that. Or cardiac arrest, in which no awareness or sensory experiences should be possible, right? Should be possible is the key word. Why? Because I'm going to argue that it is possible. And sometimes it's not possible. According to prevailing views in neuroscience, so most of the studies that are happening in the Western world and in India, in Bangalore, there's a lot of research in this topic. Dr. Ian Stevenson had an assistant who came from Bangalore, India, to assist him with this particular research. Dr. Ian Stevenson is retired now, and his disciples or his students are now running the research in University of Virginia. Right? You can, all of this is public knowledge. med.virginia.edu is where you can find it. Right? So what did they do? You know what the concept of mean and standard deviation is? So they looked at various means and various standard deviations in the normal curve and sometimes in the skewed curves. Not all curves are normal. You're all data scientists, computer scientists, so you should know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to describe what they are. You should know this by now. So list of typical features, right? So we talked about feature engineering. One of them is sensation of leaving the body. Mind functioning more clearly and rapidly than usual. At the point of death, people are a little agitated, so mind is kind of racing faster. Sensation of being drawn into a tunnel or darkness. And sometimes at the end of the tunnel, they see a bright light, a brilliant light. Then sometimes people experience a sense of peace.